nurses in the book club, so they should be all right. So I was just saying about the brickwork. Make sure, give yourself these construction lines so that you get the brickwork again all tapering off as it gets to this far corner or the far edge. Again, it's the perspective, things get smaller as they go away from you. So we've got this nice angle here and we've got to try and even up those lines. Then when you look at the brickwork, you don't have to draw every brick, but they are quite nice large bricks, so and they're a bit sort of wobbly, but we've got a large sort of brick area along here, which gives us the edge of the door, and they are quite irregular, these are. They don't follow the lines of the bricks, but they probably use just whatever they happen to have there. And then if you look at the bricks, we've got some quite nice sort of just lines and gaps between one or two to show that they are a little bit irregular, a little bit wobbly, for those that like wobbly houses. We've got our line of the eaves as well. Again, that's not quite straight. Another line in there, and then again it's quite dark along there, so we can hatch and cross hatch. Try and keep your hatching quite nice and sort of loose, so you're not being too particular with all your lines and trying to get them evenly spaced. You can do it quite nice, almost like a scribble there. And again, we've got our lintel above the door here, and then we've got these gaps between some of these stones. So we're not drawing every stone, we're just sort of putting in some of these shadows that we're getting, and gaps between some of these nice, probably nicked from Hadrian's Wall or something. And then at the side, again, the edge of it is a little bit wobbly, so just think where there's a gap where those little sort of edge where those stones are. And then I'm going to put some foliage in here rather than the building that's next to it. So again, you did that little example of the foliage, so keep your scribble nice and small and even. Well, not even, nice and random, I should say, but sort of round, even type shapes, and if you just let it grow up the wall, come over the edge a little bit. We're going to have sort of weeds and things in the wall, possibly around the edge of the barb shed. But it just gives a nice sort of break to the edge of the picture. Nice to have a bit of foliage around there. You could have a tree coming up if you wanted. It wouldn't be a big tree, it would be a young sort of sapling type tree that's growing up amongst the cobbles. If you're not quite sure, have a little practice first on your scrap paper. And we've probably got ivy or something crawling up the wall. The more you do, the sort of quicker you get in a way. Foliage, it can take a long time if you've got a lot of it, but it's worth not doing your scribbles too open and wide. It's quite nice to, do a bit of that, and then you come over and do a bit more of your brickwork. Put some of those in. And again, you don't have to get your brickwork exactly as it is on the cottage or the barn itself. You can make it up a bit. As long as all those lines are following that edge. And we've got some big stones around something bigger, built to last.
Yeah.
I really want to dial them down in this doorway. So nice close together hatching. I've got that shaft of sunlight that goes into there. And I could work the opposite way. agency or just
No, usually find stuff via Facebook.
right?
Push me out of trouble. Sorry.
So is it cats and dogs or
Yeah.
mainly?
And horses.
I was thinking when I said
What horses?
one place I did, he had a horse.
Mm.
And I'm terrified of horses.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was fun. And then another
You didn't tell him that then?
Oh, with the cat. With the cow, I did, yeah. He said, "Oh, you'll be fine." Horse going towards me, it's like, okay. And then I had another place, and she had 8 cats, a dog, 6 chickens, 6 geese, 3 bantams, 2 guinea fowl, 2 cockerels.
Do you charge by the number of pets or by
I didn't charge her.
You didn't charge her?
No.
Mm.
I'm going back in November and still not charging her.
Why are you charging her?
Because I started off doing it with not charging.
Right, because you're living.
Yeah, and then I started charging to like cover my petrol. But I can't. She sort of turned into a friend as well, and I just.
Difficult.
It is, and the thing is, I know she hasn't got lots of money, and then it's like, yeah, but she's going to Spain for 3 weeks. So you sort of
And you're
think,
not.
exactly, and you just think, well,
Just got something towards your petrol. You know that we've had this conversation.
she did, when I was there in July, it was my birthday, and she did give me some money to buy some chocolate.
Buy some chocolate.
Yeah, but it was an expensive chocolate shop. No, it was a
There is
tourist
no-
place that I was going
Oh,
to,
right,
and
okay.
they've got an expensive chocolate shop. Yeah, she gave me some money to go and get some chocolate. Not sure it was any nicer than the cheap chocolate, but.
We've got this sort of pebbly stone cobbled yard, so just a little bit of a suggestion of those. We've got bits of grass growing up as well. Right, still a little bit flat because we need to add some shading. So this wall, the light's sort of coming from here down this side. So we're going to shade down this wall first of all. And again, that's my hatching. That's going to be quite dark.
I was going to say, I've just drawn that all in nicely, now you want me to scribble all over it.
That's all right. You're still there behind it. And we want a little bit of shading on some of these bricks. So just because they're all uneven, so they're going to cast little bits of shadow. do much talking about the book, actually. I don't think it was a comedy. A Gentleman in Moscow.
So it doesn't sound like a comedy.
No, apparently I went in just as we were having our drink. She said, well, we're just doing news. That's everybody tells them what they're doing for that's the last meeting.
Some people get up to some good things.
So there's some bits of weaves and things to put around. You could obviously put colour onto this if you wanted. You could also